Okay, so get this right. AI in our everyday lives by 2030. That's what we're diving into today. And we've got some seriously cool stuff to unpack. We've got Kurt Leonhard, this futurist, talking about, like the future of work and all that. And then we've got this super in-depth report from Stanford, the AI 100, they call it.
Yeah, it's like one's a super fast spaceship and the other's this detailed map of the galaxy. We're going to need both to really get a sense of where we're headed.
Exactly. And Leonhard, man, he does not hold back. He's like, AI is going to totally shake things up, especially when it comes to jobs. He used this example of call centers.
Yeah, call centers are the prime example he uses to show how AI can streamline things.
Right. And get that he says AI could potentially automate 90% of what they do.
90%? That's a huge chunk of jobs potentially impacted.
Huge, right. But here's the thing. Leonhard doesn't just stop at automation. He's like, okay, so what happens next? Yeah. What happens to work when AI is calling the shots?
It's not all doom and gloom, though, right? He actually sees this shift, creating a demand for a whole new kind of worker.
Yeah, he calls them premium service providers or something. Honestly, it sounds kind of vague to me.
Yeah, but it's think about it when you're dealing with a really complex issue, something that needs empathy, real problem solving. You don't want to talk to a robot, right?
No way. Give me a human any day.
Exactly. And Leonhard's saying that's where the premium comes in. People will pay for that human touch, that ability to connect on a deeper level, especially when things get complicated. He uses the example of banks hiring all these super smart grads, not just to answer basic questions, but to really dig into issues, across different departments even.
So it's not just customer service anymore. It's high-level problem solving with a side of emotional intelligence.
Exactly. And this is where things get super interesting. Leonhard, he compares the whole AI thing to the evolution of social media. Remember how it started?
Oh, yeah. It was like magic. Everyone was connecting.
Magic. But then kind of went a bit
manic.
Totally. We were glued to our phones, constantly refreshing, craving that next notification. And now, well, for a lot of people, it's become
toxic.
Exactly. And Leonhard's worried that AI could be headed down the same path.
Whoa, okay, hold on. AI going toxic. That's a whole other level of scary.
Yeah, think about it. It's we get seduced by the shiny new thing, the magic, right? But then we get so hooked, so manic about it that we don't see where it's headed. And with AI, that could be pretty scary,
Totally. It's what starts as hey, this app makes my life easier, ends up controlling your entire world.
Exactly. And Leonhard's wake up, people. We need to be thinking about this stuff now before it's too late. We need some ground rules, some ethics,
He actually uses this phrase, equip ourselves. How do we even begin to equip ourselves for an AI-driven world? So it sounds kind of daunting, honestly.
Well, he talks about a new kind of literacy, right? Not just reading and writing, but understanding AI, how it works, what it can and can't do, being able to think critically about it,
So it's not about becoming programmers or anything. It's more about being AI aware.
Totally. Knowing enough to ask the right questions, to make informed decisions about how AI fits into our lives. And it's not just on us as individuals either. Leonhard's really big on collective action, businesses, governments, they need to step up too.
He even goes as far as to call for a global agreement on AI. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, he's particularly worried about this thing called artificial general intelligence, machines that can actually think for themselves,
Okay, that's straight out of sci-fi, right?
I know, right? But it's becoming less fiction and more reality every day. And if we're not careful, we might just create something that we can't control.
Okay, that's officially terrifying.
Yeah, and that's where this AI 100 report comes in. It's Leonhard gives us this big, mind-blowing overview, and then the AI 100 is okay, let's break it down sector by sector. How is AI going to impact our world?
So it's zooming in from the grand scheme of things to street level.
Exactly. And they cover everything. Transportation, healthcare, education. Where do you want to start?
Let's stick with the slightly terrifying theme. What does the AI 100 have to say about transportation? Self-driving cars, all that jazz.
Well, get this. The report says that self-driving cars could actually be better drivers than humans by as early as 2020, which means technically we're already living in that future.
Wild, right? I gotta say, part of me is kind of sad about it. I actually like driving.
I get it, but think about it. Fewer accidents, less traffic, people who can't drive now suddenly having freedom and independence.
True. But what about all the people who drive for a living? What happens to them?
That's the double-edged sword of AI, right? For every problem it solves, it creates new ones. And the AI 100 report really stresses that we need to be thinking about these ethical dilemmas, about regulation, about public engagement and all this.
It's not enough to just invent the technology. We have to figure out how to integrate it into society in a way that works for everyone.
Absolutely, and it's not all, robots taking over the wheel. The AI 100 report dives into healthcare, too.
Oh yeah, healthcare. That's another big one. What are they saying? Robot doctors?
Well, not quite robot doctors, but they do talk about these, AI clinician assistants. Basically, AI that can help doctors diagnose diseases earlier, personalized treatments, all that good stuff.
Okay, that's kind of cool, actually, like having a super smart sidekick for your doctor.
Right, and they also talk about AI being used to develop new drugs, even predict health risks before they happen. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
It's like the future of medicine, but powered by algorithms.
Exactly. But, and this is a big but, the report also, throws in some cautionary notes, like, what about algorithmic bias and data privacy? These are big questions, especially with something as personal as healthcare.
Yeah, no kidding. The last thing you want is an algorithm deciding your fate, right?
Right. And then there's education, another area where AI could really shake things up.
Okay, so what, robot teachers now?
Not robots, think more like personalized AI tutors, systems that can adapt to how you learn best, give you custom feedback, that kind of thing.
So no more one-size-fits-all teaching, everyone gets a tailored education. That would be amazing.
Exactly. And it could free up teachers to focus on the stuff that AI can't do, like mentoring, inspiring,
So AI taking care of the more technical aspects, letting teachers be more, human.
Precisely. But, and I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record here, but the report also stresses the importance of, keeping the human touch in education.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's about more than just absorbing information, right?
Yeah.
It's about critical thinking, creativity, all that jazz. And that's where humans come in.
100%. And, when you look at both Leonhard's interview and the AI 100, it's like that the same message keeps coming up. We need to be smart about AI. We need to embrace the good while being very aware of the risks.
It's about shaping the future we want, not just letting it happen to us.
Exactly. And that means asking tough questions, demanding transparency, and making sure that AI aligns with our values as a society.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners? What can they actually do to be a part of this conversation, to make sure AI doesn't turn into, a sci-fi horror movie?
Well, first off, don't freak out, but don't bury your head in the sand either. Learn about this stuff. There's tons of information out there. Talk to people, ask questions, and don't be afraid to speak up, to demand ethical AI that benefits everyone.
It's like we have a voice in this, a choice in how this all plays out. It's not some predetermined future.
Exactly. And honestly, I think that's a good place to wrap up our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the exciting to the downright scary.
Right. But if you're as fascinated by this stuff as we are, seriously, go check out Leonhard's full interview. Take a look at the AI 100 report. This is a conversation that needs to keep going.
100%. And we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What kind of future do you want to see? Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep imagining.